We absolutely love working with our clients and the individuals we meet through all of our platforms that are looking to move to Serbia. We look forward to those that are looking to obtain residency, citizenship by descent, starting businesses and helping them develop a business plan to get them accelerated, looking to help them move their families here, get their cars imported here, set up bank accounts, transfer utilities into their names, and set up themselves for life here in Serbia. That is our goal as a business. However, we've had a number of requests from potential clients and even clients who took us upon our services, and these requests were not only illegal, but also morally wrong, and some of the requests we simply don't provide as a business solution or a service part of Relocation Serbia, unfortunately, because we as a business like to focus in on one thing, and I'll touch on what that is. And so in this video today, I'm going to talk to you about the 12 main questions we get asked for services that we do not provide. Now, our services are far and wide when it comes to what we provide here in Serbia. We've exceptionally grown last year in 2025 and look at growing even more this year and beyond. But regardless of how big we grow, there are some things that we will not be able to serve our clients with, regardless of how much money is put into our faces, regardless of how much urgency there is, regardless of what people say to us. There's simply no way that we're going to cross certain thresholds. One, we don't want to, get in trouble legally. We also don't want to get in trouble as a business. We don't want to jeopardize our clients in their processes either. And at the same time, we also have morals that we will not cross either. The first one that we get from some of our clients are those that move from a country that has things set up very efficiently and that are very streamlined. And when they come here, they realize, hey, listen, that the bureaucracy, the systems here in Serbia take a lot longer than what is anticipated. And one, the processes were always a longer process here, but with the influx of people coming to Serbia, these processes have even largely grown in wait times, right? For instance, a business may take 5 business days to set up regularly, but now we're seeing it pushed out to 7 or 8 business days. Temporary residency that was once able to be done within a month are now taking 3 months to be done. And this is no fault of our own. We can deal with the paperwork. Take your paperwork, file it correctly to make sure that it does pass when your turn comes up with the police station or immigration or the business registry. However, once those documents are submitted to the local authorities, it is completely out of our hands. And one of the questions we get from our clients, knowing that there is certain levels of corruption here in Serbia, is, can you bribe an official to speed things up for us? And it's, I understand the mentality that people have here. And yes, we do have connections with officials. We do have connections with police officers and so on and so forth. Many of them recognize me from YouTube videos, which I appreciate them watching me. However, I'm not going to jeopardize that relationship, that connection we have for something because someone does not want to wait for their turn in line. I understand that you want to purchase a car or import a car, you want to set up phone plans, and you cannot do this until you obtain temporary residency, but we are not going to use that for things that are deemed insignificant at this point in time. You have to wait your turn in line. You do not have to leave the country, even if you are beyond your 90 days, especially if that application is submitted. And there's no reason to start looking at illegal paths of moving up the process. The second one that we get is, which is similar to the first one, is, do you know someone inside the ministry who can push my case? Now, this is typically someone that is looking to get a visa application in for their loved ones, right? We've had individuals who've moved here that did not need a visa to come into Serbia, but their significant other did need a visa to come here. So an invitation letter, get their visa approved, get them to come in here. And they asked, hey, my wife, my husband, my children, I submitted the invitation letter for them and it's been approved, but they still cannot come in here for X number of months because that's when their visa is approved for. Can you somehow push that to get them to come in earlier? That's, again, something we cannot do. We're not going to, utilize who we know and what we know to move you ahead of the line of everyone else, because if we do it for one person, we do it for we have to do it for the others, and we don't want to interfere with that. And again, that jeopardizes us as a business and jeopardizes you as a client as well. So we are not going to provide these type of services. The third one that I want to talk to you about is that we are not the immigration officers. We are not the ministers. We are not any sort of government agency here. And so we cannot guarantee any or give you any sort of guarantee when it comes to a residency process, a business registration, or a citizenship approval. That is, again, up to those institutions. Now, one thing I can honestly say and that we are proud of here at Relocation Serbia is that we have had 0 refusals with any of our clients. We've had 0 refusals on business applications. Yes, we've had some refusals, but then we were able to reprimand them because the business registry, for instance, made a mistake as to what we were classifying the business. We have had no residency refusals, citizenship refusals. However, these are not up to us. We can look at your case, see what it looks like, and give you a prediction of will this or will this not pass. The biggest one that we see is citizenship by descent. So if you have a great-grandparent who was born in former Yugoslavia that ended up being in Croatia and never took on Serbian citizenship back then, and now you want to obtain Serbian citizenship, there's going to be a lot of paperwork that we need to find to see if you even have a case, and then even then it's going to be up to the ministries to decide if that you are entitled to citizenship by descent. We've done this for clients who have come here and done it, but many of our clients now are looking to see if they'll get it before they come into Serbia, and we're able to do this through a power of attorney. And so when it comes to residency, citizenships, or businesses, we cannot guarantee anything. We don't put that in writing, but what we can say is we've had 0 refusals. And I think that in itself speaks for itself. That tells you that we do our due diligence to make sure that your outcome is in your best interest. The other one is, and I literally got this question, 5 minutes before I turned on the camera here, and this is typically for people who need visas to come into Serbia that do not have visa-free travel. And the question is, can you send an invitation letter so that I can come to Serbia? And that one is an absolutely a no for us, because one, we don't know you as an individual, and so we are not going to take the responsibility, the liabilities of bringing in someone that we don't know into Serbia and being responsible for them. Number two is when the police make phone calls and ask about the relationship with that individual, we're going to essentially have zero to show them. And so we will get in essence, or could in essence get in trouble legally for falsifying documents or bringing in someone. We've had said, hey, you can say we are on friends on social media and that we can come up with some work agreements or so on and so forth. We can Photoshop pictures. That is not what we're in here for. We are a legitimate business. We are not looking to break any rules, and we're not looking to bend any rules for people that we do not know. If you need an invitation letter, find someone who is in Serbia that is a family, a friend, or something of those matters, or a relative that can send you a invitation letter. Find a job and then get an invitation letter through a job. But asking us as a service for that, and this is the one where people say, we're going to throw you 10,000, 15,000 euros for that invitation letter for you to get us into Serbia. We want no part of it, because the business we have is more valuable than essentially 10 or 15,000 euros on a one-time payment, and we're not willing to jeopardize that, nor is that morally right from my standpoint, and I do not want to lie to anyone. I'm a pretty honest individual, and I do not like to cut corners when it comes to that. Number 5 is that, can you get me residency without me actually living in Serbia? And that is absolutely no. That process of residency has to be done here in Serbia in person. So you cannot start this process online. You cannot start this process through an embassy or a consulate. You have to do that process here in Serbia. You will have to go to the police station for multiple interviews, which when you're here and you work with us at Relocation Serbia, we accompany you to those meetings here. Myself or one of my colleagues, they go with you so that there's no language barriers and so that the documents are submitted correctly. We go for your biometric cards, and we even take you to go pick up your cards as well. So that process alone we cannot do, and we cannot start for you until you are here in Serbia and have legal basis to be in here and to obtain residency, which typically falls for most is going to be either property purchase or setting up a business. Now, there are some other avenues out there for some of our clients, such as temporary residency, being that you're married to a Serbian citizen. And so that is another option out there, but those are not very common for us as a service. Well, we've seen it, but it's not as common as business or real estate purchases, which is what most foreigners do who do not have any ties to Serbia. The next question we also get here, which is number 6, can you register a business that doesn't really operate? Well, we can register any business for you. And if your basis of residency is on having a business here in Serbia, our advice is that you actually operate it as a legitimate business. If you are a startup, I do not know if you are starting that business up to just simply get residency and do nothing with that business. That is completely on you. But when it comes time for your renewal of your residency, that is when things are going to be exposed. When the immigration officer says, hey, show me your invoices, show me revenue, show me something that you've done with your business, and you have nothing to show for it, then you may be having your temporary residency canceled, your business frozen, and expelled out of the country. So if you tell me that you're going to be setting up a business that really doesn't operate, we will not advise to doing that. We don't want to set up a business that's not operational. Not only that you're going to get in trouble, but a lot of the clients who try and do this and end up in some sort of problems with immigration or the tax office or whatever, somehow want to turn around and say, you guys are at fault for whatever it might be, for my neglect of actually running a business. You know, we can set up businesses, but it's you as the business owner for you to actually set the business up and get it off the ground. We can help you with coaching the business, hiring employees, doing bookkeeping for you, all that stuff. But for you to do the revenue generating side of business and issuing invoices, that is 100% on you. Number 7 that we get is, can you backdate documents or registrations? Again, that is something that we do not provide here. We will not falsify documents. We will not falsify registrations. This typically comes from people who are looking to, look at extending their white paper, and they are coming closer to their 90-day limit on their visa. They held their breath for 2-3 months and now want to start something, but they don't have that extra days. And so they're like, hey, can you falsify the document on my entry date? Can you falsify the date or backdate my registration at this apartment for when my lease started, or when did my business register, things of that nature. And we're absolutely not going to do that. That is not legal. That is not morally right. And we will not do that regardless of the amount of money that is put in front of us or the reasons that you want to give us. Like I like to say, the song and dance. Typically, people think that they can get away with things by not holding up their end of the bargain and or not listening to us or taking advice from other people out in public that know nothing from nothing when it comes to the business that we run here. And a lot of people like to pretend that they know, but in essence, they don't know. And so they believe people that are giving them an earful of what, and not taking our advice, and then they get into some trouble. So we will not backdate documents or registrations. Number 8, can you help me bring my firearms into Serbia anyways? This one is dominated by our American friends who love their firearms. And unfortunately, just because you have firearms in the US, just because you have your licenses, your registered firearms in the US, that is not transferable into Serbia. Even if you break down your guns into parts and pieces, you're still going to have issues when it comes to customs and immigration bringing them in here into Serbia, and we will not be able to help you bring that in without it being the proper channels, which is coming here, obtaining your firearms license, joining a hunting club, going through the training programs, and going through the procedures of going from your long barrels to your pistols to your semi-automatics, and so on and so forth. So there are a lot more processes here to get firearms into you as possession, or to obtain them here. First off, you have to go for gun training. That is a given pretty much anywhere across the world. But at the same time, here in Serbia, you also have to go through a psychological test to make sure that you are sound up here, which again, to me, I think that is a pretty good thing to have. Number 9 is, can you label or declare items differently so customs don't notice it? That is something that we can't do either. When we do ship items across the world here, we have to give a inventory list of what we're submitting or shipping to customs before on certain documents, or after pickup, or during pickup or after delivery, things of that nature. They will open sea cans up, or should I say containers. Some of you don't really know what sea cans are, so I'll just use the word containers. And they may go through your stuff. They may look at, hey, why does this individual have 20 brand new sealed up laptops but consider them as personal items? Why does this guy have hundreds of cell phones still sealed up in their boxes and considering them personal items when it's clear as day that they're going to be used to sell and use as commercial purposes? We're not going to be doing that type of stuff. Again, we are going to be held liable, and we don't want to enter into any sort of court proceedings through the Serbian government or you as our clients either. So we like to keep everything on par and above board. The next one that we see, which is number 10, is can you find me a job in Serbia? I cannot tell you how many times that I have been asked this. Emails, WhatsApp messages, social media messages through Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it. And it's not only once in a while. We're getting these requests like 6 to 12 a day from people asking if we can help them find jobs and get work permits here. This has nothing to do with legalities, morals, or any of that. It's simply a business service that we are not looking to get into. There's so much paperwork, so much labor that goes into finding an employer, connecting them with an employee, work permits, job proposals, so on and so forth, getting them here. We are already busy enough. We enjoy what we do right now with our business, and we are not looking to get into that type of business. And I wish that people understood, because not only do we not advertise this type of service, but nowhere is it said on our websites, on our social media, that we provide the service. And just because we're called Relocation Serbia does not mean we offer all services, which is mostly this one, finding a job and getting a work permit. That's not what we do, and it would be great if people stopped asking us for this service, because that's not something that we do. The next one that we get, which is the second last one here, there's obviously more, but I got into the top 12 here. Can you put me on a Serbian payroll just for residency? That is an awesome idea, but we're not just going to pay you a salary for you to obtain residency here. We have had clients that obtain residency here through various methods, and they got bored because they want to work, and a lot of the places that do have openings require you to speak Serbian. We are one of the few companies in Serbia that need people that speak English and Serbian. And because you only speak English and not Serbian, that also does not qualify. And we're not just going to put someone on payroll here in Serbia, offer you a job just to get residency. That is not the type of service we're involved in providing here. And the last one that we get, but at least not the least one, can you change, omit, or adjust information on my documents? And this is similar to the backdating one. We do not alter documents. Many of the documents that we submit to the agencies here, the government institutions, have to be originals, number one. So it's going to be very difficult to falsify an original document. Then they also have to be translated by a court certified translator that has their own seals on there, which is going to be another process. And again, it's not morally or legally right, and we're not about to do any of that. And I'm sorry if this video bursted a bunch of bubbles for those that thought they're going to reach out to us or have reached out to us, and we said, no, we're not doing this. It's just how we run our business. I hope that you can understand. But for those that are like, hey, listen, this does not sound too bad, I still want to work with you, we look forward to working with you, and we can't wait. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.